Africa don't need your aid. This is the picture we see every day on arts, we see on the platforms of international organizations, and we see on different social media platforms of the FAO. We see them on Action Against Hunger. We see this picture on World Food Program. We see them on websites. This is a child, it's an African child with kwashiorkor, dying of hunger and starvation. This is what we see every day about Africa. But is this really true? Sadly, it is true. 20 million sub-Saharan Africans are dying of starvation and hunger. 250 million children sleep hungry every day. It is true. But is that the entire picture about Africa? This is Africa, where we have people that are looking good. Look at the vegetation, look at the infrastructure. This is another picture about Africa. This is beautiful Africa, the giant Africa, the proud Africa, and the richest continent on earth. So these things happen all over the world. There's 41 million people at the brink of hunger in the entire world. But this is a picture that the world shows about Africa, how we are dying. And how do they solve this? They bring aid. They call it aid. They bring aid to Africa. That's what Africans need. No, we don't need aid. Africa needs real developmental projects. Africans needs good roads, farm to market roads. Africa needs irrigation because we contribute less to climate change and we suffer most, which means what we should get is actual compensation and not aid. So we need irrigations in our farms so we can be able to farm throughout the year. Africa needs money to support its young entrepreneurs. We don't need a bag of rice. We don't need beans. We don't need buckets and soap. We are not beggars in Africa. And this has to stop. It's about time all these big organizations start channeling real resources into solving real issues in Africa. It is about time they start understanding that Africa are not beggars and we have the potential to be able to feed the world. We have the potential to be the food basket of the world. Now look at this. If you say we cannot do this, we cannot achieve this, then there is something wrong. It means the aid is for a purpose, and that purpose is to keep us poor and dependent. If you feed me today with a bag of rice, it means you have to feed me tomorrow. But if you teach me how to fish and you give me the tools to fish, then I'm going to fish all my life and be able to do what? To feed my family. This is what Africans need. We need projects and programs that will provide livelihood for every person. In the rural communities, we help our small-scale farmers, smallholders, and also the big entrepreneurs. This is what Africa needs. It has never helped anyone. It only keeps us impoverished and entitled. But we have the youngest population, 65% of our population or more are the youth. So you can help them with these funds. Development is what drives an economy. You need funds that can transform the agricultural sector and create jobs for more than 50 million youths annually. These are the potentials we have in Africa and not aid. Stop giving us aid. We are not beggars. Today, with aid, if we say aid is effective or efficient and is helping people, then why do we have even more hunger in Africa than before? Why is there more conflict in Africa than before? Why do we have mass migration in Africa than before? Look at the crisis in the Mexican border. Look at what is happening. Look at what is happening in the Mediterranean Ocean. Look at what is happening in the Sahara Desert. Look at all these illegal migrations of Africans leaving their homes. If aid was helping us, then people will stay back because aid has transformed their life. We don't need aid. Real developmental projects. We need sustainable projects that can provide livelihood for people in Africa, especially farmers, because this is the backbone of every economy. We contribute less to climate change, but we suffer most. So whatever resources you want to bring to Africa, it's not an aid. You are not helping Africa. It should come because we deserve this money, and this money should be put to developmental projects. Entrepreneurship is the way forward. Because we can't continue to have this picture about us. This is not us. There is a war going in Ukraine. I have not seen a picture of a white kid dying of hunger and starvation in Ukraine. There are so many countries all over the world with conflict. But why do they make Africa seem like we are the poorest? I spoke to a lady in the US. On the first day she was coming to Africa, she was so scared to death. She knew all she would meet in Africa is death, mosquitoes, and wild animals in Africa. But when she got to Africa, she saw the beauty of Africa. She saw the beautiful infrastructure, amazing people, real intelligent people who are so educated. This is the picture that we need of Africa, and not this. So I call on you, FAO, I call on the World Food Program, Action Against Hunger, I call on all these organizations to come into Africa. We need you. Every country needs these developmental organizations and non-profit charity organizations to change the nation, to change the continent. But come to Africa to carry out real development and bring in sustainable projects that will truly transform the lives of Africans. Bring projects that will take 30 years, 50 years. Yes, we may suffer now, but in the next 30 years, we can be sure to have good markets. We can be sure to have good farm to market roads. We are sure that most of our farmers, their farms are properly irrigated. We are sure that youths can go to banks and get loans and be able to do what, carry out projects. We can change and transform the system. This is what we need. Thank you so much for watching, and keep watching and subscribing to my channel.